Either shut the door or leave.
Wow, I love what you've done with the place. Mind if I bring in some ice skates? It's a shame to let all this go to waste.
The only reason why I did not turn you into a block of ice the moment you opened that door is because I wish not to start a war with the plant woman. However, I can be tempted to disregard my inhibition.
Okay, no skates. Got it. I've got to say, you look a whole lot different without your suit on. Almost human.
Why are you here?
I'm bored, so sue me.
Your state of mind is not my problem.
No, it's not. But all work and no play meets Victor a dull boy.
Who is Victor?
You are.
That is a dead name. It means nothing to me anymore.
Are you sure? You were doing a lot to save Victor Freeze's wife. I don't think you even sleep.
That is correct. I do not sleep. My metabolism moves too slowly to accommodate normal life functions. A byproduct of the cryogenic accident in the Wayne Corp lab where I was born.
What I meant is that you are driven. Driven to save Mrs. Popsicle's life, even though you claim not to have an attachment anymore.
I am a mechanism with a purpose.
Right, but who gave you that purpose? See, you know exactly who that was. You, Victor. You gave yourself that purpose.
You try my patience!
I thought you were a machine. Cold as ice, remember? Why show emotion now? Or is your humanity starting to thaw you out?
Humanity. Tell me, what good has being human done for you? It is a weakness, a character flaw built from eons of evolution. You think that all that time has been to preserve life, but in fact it is to prolong death. I am beyond death. A machine cannot die. It merely shuts down to be rebooted at a later time.
Is that what you've done to Nora? Shut her down for a later time?
Yes.
Is Nora a machine too? If being you is so great, why not make her into a version of yourself?
What do you think that weapon of mine is for? It mimics the conditions that created me. Yet, I have not been able to replicate the result. Are you curious what happens to the humanity you prize so much when it is encapsulated in the freezing process?
Not exactly.
Suffocation is not imminent, as small pockets remain around the nostrils. Instead, one freezes to death slowly over the course of 15 minutes. The skin begins to burn like fire, but that is merely the nerve endings popping from exposure to a cold they were never meant to feel. After that, the body begins to grow numb. The air you breathe turns into small ice crystals that would lance at your throat if it, too, were not frozen solid. Instead, they fall into your lungs. You want to cough, but you are unable. The body remains in a state of agony until the blood begins to freeze, finally stopping the heart. I can see in your expression that you desire to know how I came by this knowledge. I lived it, but survived when no one else has. To expose Nora to the same torture, even if she were to live, would not be worth the price of survival.
I knew another guy once who said that his identity changed with pain. It broke him too.
It can have that effect.
You know what the difference between you and him is, though? You can still feel something. You can still feel love.
I cannot.
You can keep telling yourself that, but it's not true. You're in love with Nora still. Victor Freeze didn't die or transform. He had to be tucked away, because it's easier to disassociate when you're in pain. It makes it easier to cope, or at least you think it does. Well, it doesn't. Before you know it, you end up pushing the people you love right out the window and give up on the whole world.
You have overstayed your welcome.
Yeah, I guess I have. Enjoy the cold. It suits you. God knows it would kill you if you let any of that warmth in you out just a little.
Nora, I love you.
Tell me about your relationship with your parents, Thomas and Martha. Were you close?
Very. I was lucky. Most kids born into families of prestige are raised by nannies. I had Alfred, sure, but both of my parents were always there.
Tell me about them.
My mother took care of me. While my dad was in the office, we would go to the old botanical gardens. Sometimes we would go to the skating rink there. She loved flowers. I think she knew every one of them by name. And she always wore the nicest dresses, even if we were at the park. But those pearls, I don't remember ever not wearing that large pearl necklace. It always caught my eye because it was so gaudy.
And your father, Thomas?
I've heard that he was a stern man. But if he was, then he never brought that side of him home from work. He made sure I had the best tutors, the best clothes, the best everything. I never wanted to let him down. I've always felt compelled to do better if I knew he was watching me. And I watched him too. I was at every ribbon cutting, every grand opening, countless fundraisers he had for people of the city. I loved everything about him.
Tell me about the night they died.
I can't. It's too painful. I only ever see it in my nightmares.
Mr. Wayne, if you do not confront the pain of your past, you cannot engage the current in a healthy manner. They died when you were 8 years old, correct?
Yes.
Their deaths at such a formative stage of your life surely had a tremendous impact upon you. Childhood trauma of such a sort can have a devastating effect on the psyche.
It did. I saw the guy coming before they did. It's only when he pulled the gun that my father took notice.
Do you blame yourself for that?
Yes, I could have saved them.
No, Mr. Wayne. They're going to die that night, regardless of whether you shouted seconds beforehand. Staying silent may have been the only thing that kept you alive.
That's not good enough.
Yes, because your father was watching. What happened next?
My father raised his arms over his head. He tried bargaining with the guy.
But he wasn't after money.
No. My mother was shielding me, but I saw the gun fire as I crouched under her arm. At first, my father didn't even flinch. He stood tall, taller than I had ever seen him.
Then what?
The gunman fired 2 more shots into his gut, and he collapsed. My mother screamed, so the guy grabbed her by her necklace. I heard the gun go off, and she collapsed. The necklace broke, and the pearls dropped all over the alley. It was like watching it all happen in slow motion.
What did you do?
I fell to my knees and cried, like a coward.
You were 8.
I was their son.
Did the killer say anything to you?
Yeah. Just one bad day, isn't it, kid?
That's all?
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
An interesting remark.
Isn't it?
Did they ever catch the man?
They say they did. A mob hitman.
You are not convinced.
It was dark. I never saw his face. Jim Gordon is the one who caught him. If Jim says it was the guy, then I trust him.
Mr. Wayne, I encourage you to understand the breakthroughs you have made today.
Breakthroughs? I don't feel any different.
Perhaps not. Not yet. But the fact that you have confronted this memory head-on shows that you are committed to facing your demons. With my guidance, Mr. Wayne, you shall defeat them all.
What does any of this have to do with dealing with my handicaps?
Everything, Mr. Wayne. To know how to access your future, we must first fully understand what made you. We have to deconstruct the past. Today, we have gone far into that goal. In time, we shall uncover those secrets about yourself that even you may not know.